It's 11 p.m. You're lying in bed doing mental math that isn't working out. You got the degree, you got the job, you got the promotion, and yet here you are, quietly panicking about whether the car payment and the electric bill can both clear this week without you having to do the embarrassing shuffle between accounts. Again, that's not a you problem, that's a trap problem. Here's what nobody tells you. The middle class doesn't go broke from one catastrophic decision. It goes broke from 20 completely normal ones running at the same time. The car payment that felt reasonable, the house the bank said you could afford, the subscriptions you forgot about, the retirement contributions you keep meaning to start. Each one feels fine in isolation. Together, they quietly drain everything you should be building. My name is Nick, and today we're going through every single one of these traps. Not to lecture you, but because you cannot escape something you cannot see. And once you see these, you genuinely cannot unsee them. Let's go. This one doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like reward. That's what makes it the most dangerous one on this list. You get a raise. You deserve it. You worked for it. So you upgrade the apartment, nothing crazy, just nicer. You get a slightly better car. You stop buying the store brand because honestly, you've earned the real stuff. You go out more. You drop the coupons because that version of you feels like a past life. And your bank account feels fine because you're making more money. What you don't notice, what nobody notices, is that you're saving the exact same amount you were before the raise, which is close to nothing. 36% of Americans earning over $100,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck. Goldman Sachs found that even 40% of households earning $500,000 or more feel financially stretched. $500,000 a year, stressed about money. The lifestyle just expands to swallow whatever you make at every income level until you actively stop it. Here's the cost in real numbers. You get a $15,000 raise and absorb it into your lifestyle instead of saving it. If you'd invested that extra $1,200 a month at 8% returns over 25 years, you'd have over $1 million. Not from a windfall, not from a lucky stock pick, just from not letting your lifestyle notice the raise arrived. Every time income goes up, and save at least half of it before you get used to having it. The other half, live your life. But that first half is the difference between building wealth and just being busy. I want you to picture the most aggressively average suburban street in America. Nice neighborhood, decent houses, and parked in every driveway a truck that has never once gone off-road, financed over 7 years that the owner is going to trade in the moment they feel like something newer. The average new car payment right now is $772 a month. 20% of buyers, 1 in 5, are committing to over $1,000 a month on a depreciating asset. And to make those numbers feel manageable, loan terms have quietly stretched to an average of 69 months, with 21% of loans now running 84 months. 7 years, you will be making payments on this car when it is a 7-year-old car. And here's the trap inside the trap. By late 2024, nearly 25% of people trading in a vehicle owed more than the car was worth, underwater by an average of over $6,000, so they roll that negative equity into the new loan. The payment resets, the debt doesn't. You never actually own anything, you're just perpetually renting metal at terrible interest rates, and the dealership loves you for it. Someone who always has a car payment versus someone who buys a reliable used car and invests the difference at 10% returns ends up with close to $800,000 less over 30 years, not from bad investments, just from the payment. The truck in the driveway that's never seen mud is not a personality, it's a payment plan. And it is eating your retirement. Total U.S. credit card debt recently smashed records, hitting over $1.1 trillion. The average APR on accounts carrying a balance is over 22%, and nearly half of all cardholders carry a balance every single month. If the average cardholder with $11,000 in debt makes only minimum payments at 22% interest, they'll be paying it off for 22 years. Total paid back around $29,000 for $11,000 worth of stuff they probably can't fully remember buying. Here's why this works so perfectly on human psychology. Research from the University of Warwick found that when the minimum payment was simply removed from credit card statements, people spontaneously paid 70% more. The number printed on the statement acts as a ceiling your brain treats as the floor. You see $60, your brain registers task complete, and the bank collects interest on the remaining balance for the next 2 decades. The credit card company didn't design that minimum payment to help you get out of debt. They designed it to keep you in it as long as mathematically possible. That's not cynicism. That's their business model. Stop carrying a balance. If you can't pay it off this month, you can't afford it. Full stop. The median home price hit roughly $435,000 in mid-2024. At roughly 7% mortgage rates, the monthly payment on a median-priced home before taxes, insurance, and maintenance is about $2,900. Add those back and you're at $3,500 a month. To afford that without quietly drowning, you need a household income around $110,000. The median household income is roughly $80,000, so most people buying near the median are already stretching, but then the bank approves them for more, and it feels like validation, like the bank ran the numbers and decided you can handle it, but the bank doesn't care if you can handle it comfortably. The bank cares if you can handle it enough to not default immediately. Those are two wildly different standards, what nobody factors in. Recent research from Zillow shows hidden homeownership costs average roughly $15,000 a year on top of the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, the HVAC that will absolutely die on the hottest weekend of August, the roof that needs replacing, the appliances that all seem to coordinate their failures. That's an extra $1,300 a month. The bank's approval letter never mentioned. Buy less house than the bank says you can. The bank is not on your side in that transaction. The bank is the bank. A life insurance agent is going to sit across from you at some point, if they haven't already, and explain with great enthusiasm that you can have life insurance and a savings vehicle in one product. 2 for 1, smart planning, very responsible. What they will not volunteer, they earn a commission that can exceed 100% of your entire first year's premiums for selling you this thing. For a healthy 35-year-old wanting $500,000 in coverage, term life costs $26 to $55 a month. Whole life costs $460 to $680 a month. Same death benefit. The difference is the cash value component, which grows at roughly 1 to 3% annually. If instead you spend $50 on term and invest the $450 difference in an index fund at historical 10% returns over 30 years, you end up with close to $1 million. The whole life policy builds around $100,000 to $130,000 in cash value over that same period. And when you die, the insurance company keeps the cash value and only pays the death benefit anyway. The agent's enthusiasm is entirely understandable. You should not share it. Get term, invest the difference. Move on. Before we go further, I want to introduce you to a household. We'll call them the Garcias. The combined income of $110,000 a year, 2 working professionals, 2 kids, solidly middle class, doing everything right. After federal and state taxes, they take home about $6,800 a month. They bought a house at the top of their approval. Mortgage, taxes, insurance, and maintenance runs $3,100 a month. 2 car payments at a combined $700, student loans at $450, daycare for 2 kids at $2,000 a month. Groceries, utilities, phones, internet, another $900. That's $7,150 in fixed monthly costs on $6,800 in take-home pay. They are negative $350 before they've bought a single cup of coffee. This is not a story about irresponsible people. This is a story about normal people who said yes to every normal thing. The house, the cars, the degrees, the kids, without anyone sitting them down and running the actual numbers. The bank approved the mortgage, the dealership approved the car loans, the university approved the student loans. Everyone approved everything. Nobody asked if the whole picture added up. It doesn't add up. And the Garcias are not unusual. They are the median. Speaking of the Garcias, I hear something that will genuinely surprise you. Elizabeth Warren, years before she was a senator, was a Harvard bankruptcy law professor. She and her daughter studied thousands of families who had filed for bankruptcy. Their finding changed everything. Families with two working parents were actually more likely to go bankrupt than single income families. Working twice as hard, two paychecks, more likely to lose everything. Here's why. A $50,000 second income sounds like a lot. Run the actual math. Federal and state taxes at the marginal rate, $18,000 gone. Daycare for one child, national average, $13,000. Commuting costs $4,000 to $5,000. The convenience spending that exhaustion makes inevitable. Takeout because nobody has time to cook. A house cleaner, faster shipping, pre-cut vegetables at 3 times the price. Another $5,000 to $7,000. Net contribution of that $50,000 salary, around $7,000 to $10,000 a year. But here's the real trap. The family built their fixed costs, the mortgage, the cars, the whole structure, around two incomes, which means both incomes are now permanently load-bearing. There's no margin. No backup plan. If one partner loses their job, gets sick, needs to take care of an aging parent, the structure doesn't bend. It collapses. The single-income family of 50 years ago had something the two-income family of today traded away: a reserve, a backup, a financial emergency brake. Structure your fixed costs so one income can cover them. Use the second to build actual wealth. Most middle-class families do the exact opposite, and they feel it every month without knowing exactly why. Quick question. Before you read the next sentence, guess your monthly subscription spending. Got a number? Research from C+R Research found that the average consumer estimates $86 a month. The actual average is $219. People underestimate by more than 2.5 times. 42% are currently paying for at least one subscription they've completely forgotten exists. Here's a realistic stack for a normal household: Netflix, Disney+, Spotify, Amazon Prime, DoorDash, DashPass, a gym membership. And here I have to pause because the gym membership is in a category of its own. Americans collectively pay billions of dollars a year for gym access they do not use, on the precise logic that keeping the membership is motivating. It is not motivating, it is expensive. Then cloud storage, a news site, an app that auto-renewed from a free trial 6 months ago. That's around $160 a month. $2,000 a year, invested at 7% over 20 years, $87,000 for stuff you're mostly not using. Pull up your bank statement right now. Count. You will find something that surprises you. This one is fast because the number does all the work. 59% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency with savings. Not $10,000, $1,000, and 27% have no emergency savings at all. What this means practically: when the car needs brakes, when the water heater goes, when the medical bill arrives, it goes on a credit card at 22% interest. That $3,000 repair becomes a $4,000 to $7,000 repair by the time the balance is cleared. The absence of an emergency fund doesn't just hurt you when something breaks, it makes every unexpected expense permanently more expensive because every single one gets filtered through high-interest debt before it reaches you. And this is the most fixable problem on this entire list: a boring, high-yield savings account. 3 to 6 months of expenses. Build it before you do almost anything else on this list. The NBER confirmed in 2024 what everyone already suspected. When people learn their peers earn more, they immediately increase spending on visible things: cars, clothes, vacations. Social media has turned what used to be a slow neighborhood level comparison into a real-time global one. Here's the part that should genuinely change how you think about this. Most of the people you're keeping up with cannot afford what they're doing. That coworker's truck, 7-year loan, underwater on the trade-in, the neighbor's kitchen renovation, home equity line, the resort vacation, credit card at 22% that's still getting paid off. Everyone is financing the appearance of prosperity. Nobody is posting their credit card statement alongside the beach photo. The only audience for your financial life that actually matters is future you. And future you, the one who either has options or doesn't, is being shaped right now by decisions that feel completely social and not financial at all. 63% of consumers say emotions drive their purchases. 40% of all online spending is impulse-driven. The average person spends around $280 a month on unplanned purchases. $3,300 a year. Here's the psychology in one sentence. Shopping triggers the same neurochemicals as exercise and genuine human connection. The hit lasts about 45 minutes. And then you have a thing you didn't need and a charge you didn't plan. What's insidious about this trap is it never feels like a habit. It feels like occasional treats. It only becomes visible when you add up the year. $3,000 annually invested at 7% over 20 years is $130,000. Stacked on subscriptions, convenience costs, and social comparison spending, you're looking at $300,000 to $400,000 in lifetime wealth, gone not to one bad decision, but to 1,000 small ones that each felt completely fine. Here's a trap that does its damage in total silence. $500 a month invested at 7% starting at 25. By 65, you have $1.3 million. Same $500 a month starting at 35, $610,000. 10-year delay. Same monthly contribution, $700,000 less. The average American starts saving for retirement at 31. The median retirement savings for people aged 55 to 64 is $185,000. They believe they need $1.26 million to retire comfortably. The gap between those two numbers is not a math problem. It's a psychology problem, that's specifically present bias. The human brain consistently treats future needs as less real than present wants. Retirement feels like a problem for later you. Later you is going to be absolutely furious. Automate the contributions, make them invisible. The best financial decision you will ever make is one you don't have to actively choose every month. 90% of day traders lose money. The average active trader underperforms the market by 6.5% annually. The Bank for International Settlements found that a majority of retail crypto investors across nearly every economy they studied lost money on their Bitcoin holdings over a 7-year stretch. And yet, every bull run, every viral coin, every meme stock moment, millions of completely rational people become briefly convinced that this time they've cracked it. $10,000 in GameStop at the 2021 peak was worth under $1,500 a year later. $10,000 in an S&P 500 index fund over that same period became $14,000 to $15,000. The boring thing won. The boring thing keeps winning. The boring thing will continue winning for the vast majority of people, the vast majority of the time. The index fund doesn't have a Reddit thread. It doesn't give you a story at a dinner party. It just turns your money into more money over decades, which is, and I cannot stress this enough, all you actually need it to do. Your credit score is a measure of how well you interact with debt. That is literally all it is. It does not measure your wealth, your savings rate, your net worth, or your retirement readiness. It measures your relationship with borrowing money. And yet millions of people are making real financial decisions to optimize this number, keeping cards open they never use, refusing to pay off debt early, even taking out small loans they don't need, all to chase a score that stops meaningfully improving around 740. Above 740, the incremental rate difference on a mortgage is negligible. The habits built while chasing 800 and above, maintaining revolving balances, treating debt as a tool to be managed rather than eliminated, those habits cost real money over time. You can have a perfect credit score and zero wealth. Those are not contradictions. They happen together constantly. The goal is financial independence. The credit score is occasionally a useful tool on the way there. It is not the destination. Here's what ties all of this together. None of these traps require you to be reckless. Most of them require you to be completely, entirely normal. The car payment is normal. The credit card balance is normal. The house at the top of your approval is normal. The subscriptions, the impulse purchases, the retirement contributions you'll start next quarter, all normal. Totally, completely, financially devastating normal. Because normal right now means 62% of workers living paycheck to paycheck. Total household debt at $18.8 trillion. The median American at every age bracket with roughly half the savings they actually need. Normal is the trap. The people who end up genuinely financially free aren't doing exotic things. They're just refusing to do the normal things. They drove the car that didn't make a statement. They bought less house than they were approved for. They automated their investments before their lifestyle could absorb the income. They didn't need to keep up with anyone because they were too busy actually building something. From the outside, at 35, they looked like they hadn't figured out how to enjoy their money yet. From the inside, at 55, they look like people with options. And options, the ability to choose your work, your time, your life, are what money is actually for. You don't have to fix all of this week. Pick the trap that stung the most when you read it, the one where you thought, okay, that one's me, start there. That's where your version of this story changes.